YouTube, welcome back. We are on September 5th right now on a Tuesday. The patch for 092 with the introduction of Runemaster and the Exiled Mage encounter and a whole bunch of new stuff will be going live on Thursday. So we're going to go through the patch notes. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I expect that it's going to be long. While we go through this video, if you want to make some timestamps, you can do that. I would be immensely grateful for you, YouTube audience, you. At the very end of this YouTube video, we will discuss the things that stood out, our impressions of the patch, anything that we want to double back and give more feedback on. So if you don't want to watch the entire video, I'm not sure how long it's going to be, fast forward to the end, and I will make at least one timestamp there for you. Cool. All right, let's go through this. 092 patch notes. God bless. I scrolled through this already. It's long. I have had access to play Runemaster. I am a community tester. I know more things than are in these patch notes. So I will provide feedback on the things that are relevant, but I cannot tell you everything. So without further ado, welcome. Experimental crafting, rune prisons, Runemaster, monolith improvements, more density, smaller maps, alpine halls, 1/3 as big as it used to be. God bless. Let's read. All right, Runemaster is brand new. This is the 3rd mastery for Mage. It is very, very fun. I encourage you to play with it and probably to level with it as well. Provides a great opportunity for customization, skill expression. I know there are a handful of people out there when they see the phrase skill expression, they sit up in their seats. It really does feel like something that allows a good player to do sweeter things than a casual player would. You know what I mean? Let's keep going through this. Mastery skill, Runic Invocation. So this is only available to a Runemaster. There's a passive component. You get little things above your head that track the last 3 skills that you used. Channeled skills will give you runes as well. The active component is that you consume all of those runes to cast one of 40 different invocations. The cool, interesting ones, you probably already know about them because they're sweet. Things like, kind of looks like Cremation from Path of Exile, kind of looks like Discharge from Path of Exile, kind of looks like the triangle, or like the 3 lines, elemental damage over time, bit from Gaspar right there. There's a lot of good stuff going on. But, let's keep scrolling. Flame Rush is a skill that all 3 classes will have access to. So this is only 5 points in the Runemaster skill tree. It is a traversal skill, so you can use it instead of Teleport. Teleport gives you stun immunity if you spec into it. Flame Rush natively gives you damage reduction while you are flame rushing, and there's some other damage reduction nodes inside of it. It can do other cool things like proc Runic Invocation for you. It's pretty cool. I think the less damage taken is going to be more interesting for build creators a month from now. It's probably not going to be that interesting for people right now because it's not flashy and dynamic, but like, oh, this is really good. And you can make this extend past the duration of Flame Rush as well. I think this is very, very strong. Let's keep going. Frost Wall is a spell damage over time CC component, crowd control thing. Everybody has access to this. This is before the halfway point in Runemaster. So you could use this as a Sork if you wanted to. Creates a wall of frost. A frost wall, you might say. Lasts for 6 seconds. It does some stuff. You can have 1 at a time. Enemies that reach the wall within 0.2 seconds, blah, 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 blah. Bosses cannot be frozen this way. It has some good damage multipliers on it. And it also has synergy with a handful of other skills. I have a different YouTube video that goes over the exact skill tree for Frost Wall. Go click on that if you're interested. Beyond the halfway point, so this is only Runemaster, is a skill called Rune Bolt. For me, when I was playing this, Rune Bolt felt like, why the hell would I even use this? And then as I tested Runemaster more and more, I began to appreciate this skill more and more. It's got some synergies here and there. It's really good as a mana generator, and it has some, it's got enough damage where it's not like pitiful. So I'd be surprised if there was like a main skill Rune Bolt build out there. I'd be surprised by that, but it does enough damage where you're happy to be casting it. So the last part of the combo is fire, second part's lightning, third's cold. Sure. You got it. The other skill here is Glyph of Dominion. This is a Runemaster only skill. It places a big circle on the ground and it deals some damage over time. It has 1 explosion at the very end of it, We also went over the complete skill tree for Glyph of Dominion. You can check my YouTube channel for that, or you can wait 2 days and play it yourself. But TLDR, I feel as though there might be a good damage over time build along with this. If I were trying to make a Glyph of Dominion build, first of all, it seems better for buffs than it does anything else, but I think the damage over time component of Glyph of Dominion is more interesting than the hit-based explosion at the end of it. So that's my initial impression of this skill. Let's keep going. We got a lot to read. Frostclaw is a brand new skill that just got introduced to the base class at level 12. You get access to it, so you can level with it as well. This is something that is in the game in order to give you access to a spammable cold skill so that you can spam cold skills for runic invocation if you want to. It's got some other synergies in it as well. For example, they've spoiled that you can proc it by attacking with a melee attack. They've also spoiled that you can have it recast, you can have it as a mana generator, and they've said you can have it scale off of melee damage on your weapon, which is pretty cool. So there's other cool, interesting stuff. You'll have to wait and see about that. Frostclaw's neat. I like Frostclaw. Let's keep going. There's a brand new Essence monster. If you're a Path of Exile gamer, that makes sense to you. It's an opt-in encounter. It's called Rune Prison, and it unleashes the Exiled Mage. Before you ask, no, there is not an Exiled Rogue. There is not an Exiled Sentinel. There's only an Exiled Mage, currently. You walk up to this, you click on it, the Exiled Mage will pop out. He picks from a variety of mage skills. His skill selection kind of makes him feel like a mini shade of Erebus. When you kill him, he will drop a handful of items. Among those items will be items that have drop-only affixes. We call them experimental affixes. You could call them experimental items. There's a lot to say about this. You only know about 2 or 3 of these affixes. I know about a lot of them. They're sweet. They're really cool. The affixes themselves can be exalted. The affixes can be on an exalted item, and they can make their way onto an LP unique item. If you have any particular questions about that, Twitch chat, ask me now, or else we're just going to keep going. There's a lot to say about this, but we're just going to keep moving. You punch this guy, you get some stuff. There's some experimental crafting that goes along with this. Some crafting materials that could become present. I assume that the patch notes will go over that as well. Is it fun? Is it fun to fight the Exiled Mage? I feel as though the Exiled Mage, I would like to see 2 things. I would like to see him be more visually impressive because he's a big deal and he doesn't really stand out from the other monsters. So that's one thing that I would like to see. The other thing is I feel as though he uses movement skills maybe a little bit too much. Because sometimes you try to aim at him and he just like, he moves. So like, yeah, we'll see. That was my experience with it. How cool are the affixes really? I cannot tell you. I've made many PogChamp faces while I was reading the experimental affixes. Truth be told, the experimental affixes that you've seen already during these like spoiler week aren't sexy. You saw one with like ward decay threshold on it, and you saw one that had like your minions teleport with you when you use a movement skill, which works with totems. When that's cool. That is cool. That's very cool. I was very impressed by how interesting the affixes were. I think you'll like them. I think you'll like them a lot. All right, experimental items. Let's go look at this. This is the kind of item that you will see on the ground. You can filter for it in your loot filter. Defeating this gets a guy. See 4 minions teleported around you after you use a traversal skill. So this used to only exist on things like Fury Leap or Skeleton Mage if you're playing an Acolyte, but now you can just put it on your boots. And you could also put this on a unique item with the LP system. So that's very interesting as well. Items can only have 1 experimental affix at a time, including sealed. If you have a sealed experimental affix, you cannot also have another experimental affix. There's some cool crafting that goes along with it in a moment here. You can never make a shard of an experimental affix. You cannot remove it and then craft it onto another item. That is not possible. Because of that, if your experimental affix is tier 2, you can never get it to tier 3 because you can't +1 it. However, if you craft something else, if I try to get this movement speed +1 and I crit success, my crit success could increase the level of my experimental affix. That's cool. Let's keep going. Experimental crafting. We have 2 things here and they're closely related. I'm just going to read them to you. I like them a lot. They're really cool. We're going to see some awesome items. And if we don't see awesome items, that's on you, not on me, because I'm going to try. A Rune of Research. At level 70 or above, an exiled mage might drop a Rune of Research. So during the campaign, you will never find one of these. Later on, when you're in monos above level 70, you might find one of these when you kill an exiled mage. Because of this, on my minimap, if I ever see an exiled mage icon on my minimap, I'm going to walk over there to punch it. So, Rune of Research. It seals an experimental affix on the item. I'm pretty sure it's guaranteed. I'm pretty positive it's guaranteed. The affix is moved to its own slots at the bottom. You can't seal 2 things. You can't have a Glyph of Despair and a Rune of Research. There's only one of those. You can only have one affix sealed. Leaving its old slot open if you'd add a new affix. Cool. When an experimental affix is sealed, you have a chance to gain a Glyph of Insight. You know, this thing that we're about to talk about. This chance is higher for items with higher tier affixes, but cannot exceed 45%. We don't know exactly how this math works right now, but for example, if you have an item that has tier 4, tier 4, tier 3, tier 4, and you use a Rune of Research on it, that'll have a higher chance of yielding a Glyph of Insight than if you had an item that had tier 1, tier 1, tier 2, tier 1. For example. Next up is the Glyph of Insight. This one is also extremely interesting. It says it changes a prefix into an experimental affix. It only works on glove belt boots and does not work if the item already has an experimental affix. This includes having a sealed affix. Which properties determine the affix and what is required for higher tiers can be discerned through experimenting. It is deterministic. Carefully studying the numbers on the item will yield information for you. This probably means that we can data mine it. We probably will know exactly what this means a week from now. Right now, I do not know any additional information about this. There's a question that popped up in chat. Let's read it. Are levels as impactful as normal ones for experimental affixes? Like, is a tier 7 experimental affix going to be potentially build defining, whereas tier 5 won't be? Build defining? I don't think build defining. Like, they scale in a similar way. Like, you know, tier 5 to tier 6 is a big jump, and then tier 6 to tier 7 is an even bigger jump. Will it be more like class affixes where the scaling is pretty small? The ones that come to mind for me right now, I think you'll just be happy to have the affixes at all. Like, obviously, bigger numbers are better numbers, but I think you'll just be happy to have the affix at all. All right, let's keep going. Glyph Insight, experimental affixes is deterministic. We can learn about this. If you like data mining, if you hate experimenting and having fun, I assume that this is something that will be data mined within a week or so. All right, next up. This is something that we only learned about a day or two ago called one-shot caches and lost caches. We did not cover this in a YouTube video because I don't think it's particularly interesting. So it includes something called personal affixes. Let's scroll down here real quick. One-shot caches are during the campaign. They're always there. If you make a brand new character, it'll be there. If you make another brand new character, it'll still be there. You can loot them once per character. A lost cache is a new system for the endgame monoliths. You will randomly see caches and you will want to click on them. There is something called a personal affix. Let's look down here. Personal affixes do not drop naturally in the game. They completely define the name of the item. Usanoi's Astrolab. You cannot craft them at all. So they're not intended to be viable endgame. They're just cute leveling items, and you will know where they are because they are predetermined. What you should know about the one-shot and the lost caches, I guess the one-shot caches are more interesting to me. To me, the one-shot caches feel like gambler's fallacy at the beginning of the game. You do a little side quest, you talk to the guy, you get a unique item, and you know exactly what it's going to be. Or perhaps you do that little side quest in Chapter 4, where you get the Orkirian Petals, and it gives you a boost to physical damage, crit chance, cast speed, and it's good if you're playing a build that uses those affixes. To me, the one-shot caches are boxes during the campaign. You will always know where they are, and they might help you with a particular build archetype while you're leveling. Cool. I'm going to point out that this GIF is spoiling something for you. If you can read fast enough, or perhaps pause the animation here, you will see that this person is opening a one-shot cache, and out of it pops a small idol that is unique. And to me, if that's what I think it is, that sounds like a wonderful use for a one-shot cache. If that small unique idol is a singularity, which is currently the only small unique idol in the game, I think that is an amazing use for the one-shot caches to allow you to go non-crit during the campaign just to have some extra damage. I think that's an excellent idea from EHG. All right, let's keep going. Localization. If you don't speak English, you're slightly happier. Hey. Monolith of Fate. There's a couple things that they did here. They made the maps more dense. They made the maps less dead end. Fewer dead ends will appear in your maps. And the very large maps like Alpine Halls are 1/3 the size that they used to be. Those changes, along with the addition of the lost caches and the Exiled Mage, will hopefully make the endgame loop of farming these echoes a little bit more engaging than it used to be. I like it. I'm happy. Time to speedrun campaign and get a max roll singularity. You have to make a new character every single time. And also, that sounds miserable. Let's keep going. Ambushes. These are some changes that you don't have to read these, but they are excellent. They removed the ambush during an ambush as an encounter for an endgame echo. They removed the one that had 2 Covenants of Dominion. If you don't know what these monsters are, they are my least favorite monsters in the entire game. I hate them. They're like these little spheres that shoot fire at you. I hate them. They added a new one that did some other stuff. No longer spawns here, no longer spawns there. Ambush objectives can be disguised as a boss or a gate objective. It's because it's an ambush. It's cute. I like it. Let's keep going. There's a big change that we will get to. Some kind of honor item. Something about a bastion. We'll get to it because Twitch chat has assured me that it is in the patch notes, so I'm allowed to talk about it. Because of the change to the honorful bastion item, we see some changes to the blessings as well. Instead of granting block effectiveness, this blessing grants you block chance and also a smaller amount of block effectiveness. So that's pretty cool. I do like this. Ward per second values are going up. You'll see that Runemaster has a lot of support for ward per second. Ward per second has not been a particularly good way of generating ward in the past, but there's a lot of support for it here. So maybe it'll be better. We'll see. Cosmetics. Yo, my money. Ladder. Let's see this. Automatically displays which ladder you're competing on. Great. The ladder entries now show which abilities the character has specialized rather than what's on their bar. This is an excellent change. I don't want to go off track and rant about how stupid the old system was, but I do like this. This is a good change. Hopefully you can't change your specialization after you die before you... Okay, anyways. In-game bug reporting, you should know, in-game, if you click escape, you can report a bug. It is so much easier than going to the forums and making a bug report. If you've ever thought, oh, I should report this. Nah, that's too much of a hassle. This is directed at you. It is much less of a hassle now than it has been in the past. Going on. Mechanics. What do we got? Wait, it's harder to get to level 100 than it used to be? Wait, it takes even more experience to get to 80, 85, 90 to 95, 95 to 100? It's even harder to get to level 100? Man, I sure am glad that I leveled my character to level 100 before this patch started. Whew, that's convenient. The changes to Monolith Echo layouts do result in higher XP per hour than before, but these changes are intended to Got it. All right, let's keep going. Region selection when you're playing multiplayer. There's some changes here. Fix issues. Change region as a solo player, not cause you to change region in the next scene. Transition campaign. Good. Thankfully, you're an ethical gamer who's going to level from level 1 to the new patch. And I encourage that as well. I think leveling as a Runemaster is very nice. You can level as Glacier if you want to, which is like the stock standard thing to do as a mage. But if you want to level with any of the new Runemaster skills, you'll have a good time, because I did that as well. Start level 1 with Frostclaw. You could literally not start level 1 with Frostclaw. There's a damage and vulnerability period that has been changed. They fixed a bug with a 15-second cooldown could start before the client was connected to the server, potentially leading to you being dead when you log in. If you're interested in hardcore, this is a very, very good change for you. Love that. All right, Vitality. Each point of Vitality grants about half as much life as it used to. 6 health instead of 10 health. But each point of Vitality also grants necrotic and poison res instead of health regeneration. Love it. Love it. Oh, that's so good. Less health to punish the health meta. A bunch of poison necrotic res so that I can play a Void Knight and finally have some easier gearing going on. I like it. That's pretty cool. Other changes. We got a lot more to go, don't worry. Your character list is now ordered by which character was last modified, which was last saved. God bless. Your character can now change position more quickly for a brief period of time after starting to move. Sure, you got it. Changed minion AI so they no longer run back and forth when you give them an enemy target outside their normal leech range. And minions now follow you through portals instead of getting stuck in weird places. Neat. Love that. It punishes Vitality stacking Lich. It sure does. What the heck? Let's keep going. What is this? A screenshot of being pretty? I do like pretty stuff. We have minion skills. All minion skill tooltips now say that minions can be given commands with the A key, and you will see a little visual indicator. So you'll have a little bit more information about where your minions are moving and a little bit more responsiveness. There's some skill changes. Arcane Ascendance. We can pull up the Arcane Ascendance skill tree itself. I'm not going to. The shock chance is bigger. The reduced mana drain is bigger. Cosmic Insight grants cooldown recovery speed more than it used to, but it's no longer multiplicative. This is a buff unless you had more than 50% increased cooldown recovery speed from other sources. So a couple boosts here and there. Not something that makes me care about Arcane Ascendance, but I guess they wanted to give it some extra numbers here. Cool. You like this change, but it's a big nerf. Sure. For the handful of people who willingly use Arcane Ascendance. Chat, this is a sorcerer skill that you don't have access to a Runemaster. Are you the only one that likes the Vitality change? No, I also like the Vitality change. I think it's very cool. Bloop. Arcane Ascendance is a buff. The mana on kill is great. Yeah, gotcha. Assemble Abomination. Let's see what this is. No longer prioritizes attacking enemies near the player. It will instead target the enemies nearest to itself. God bless. That's really good. Rapacious Protection also causes the Abomination to prioritize enemies close to the player. Neat. Something worthwhile for Assemble Abomination is if you make it stationary, you can use a movement skill and drag it with you with the boot affix that we saw previously. You can also drag totems and stationary minions along with you, like ballistas, which is awesome. I love that. Did my stream die? Goodness gracious. We're going to pause for just a moment. We're going to keep recording, but we're going to pause for just a moment. This stream actually dead? Oh my goodness, it is. Do I have any control over this? Let's see. We are 25 minutes into the recording. I might need to make a little change arena there. "25 minutes in, huh? Are we back? Are we okay? Test, test, test. Hello? I really need to go in and edit a video to remove that? Don't make me do it. Don't make me go into the YouTube video and edit it just to take this out. Still buggering? Still buffering? Got it, got it. I guess we'll give it a moment here. Do 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 do. Still is not back, huh? It's unfortunate because I can still browse the web. You can hear me, but there's no video? What the fudge? What the fudge, dude? Time to restart from the top so I don't have to edit it. Yikes. I believe we are back. Hit refresh. I believe we're good. We good? Audio seems fine. Hit refresh. Chat, there's not that many frames. I'm sitting here reading text to you. Pressing fast forward works. Yeah, just go in the future. Much, much better. It's back for you. God bless. I have to edit this video. I hate it. Don't make me edit this video, chat. I will. I'm just not happy about it. All right. Welcome back. We have a new skill to talk about. It's never been in the game before. It's called Black Hole, and they're introducing this as a sorcerer skill instead of making this a Runemaster skill, which is very strange for me. You were making timestamps for me? If you're making timestamps for me, I will not edit the video. Done. It's been immortalized. All right, Black Hole. The base damage is 18 instead of 7.5. And the damage effectiveness is 300% instead of 125. So there's like a small buff to Black Hole. Is it good enough? Does it make me want to cast the skill once every 15 seconds? I don't know.
To figure it out.
I'm not sure if that's a sufficient buff, but we'll see. Time dilation, chance to blind enemies. No one cares. Blind is terrible. Rifts no longer have less damage dealt. Cool. Cooldown recovery speed doubled. Grants pull area. Sure. Got it. The big change, in my opinion, about Black Hole is now it uses the Meteor skill tree instead of not using the Meteor skill tree. Strictly speaking, I think you have access to fewer more multipliers, but you have like more options of things to spec into. I think it's a buff overall. Let's keep reading here though. 2 ignite chance per second for every 1 uncapped fire resistance. Sure. I love stuff like this. I just like that it's in the game. Cascade Fracture no longer says the second black hole is half as effective. This reduced effectiveness was never applied anyways, so we took it out. All right, no longer adds 200 mana. It now uses the Meteor skill tree. The damage modifiers from black hole no longer apply to it. It consumes Meteor's mana cost for every Meteor cast by black hole, but it will not cast Meteor while you have negative mana. Needs testing. Definitely requires testing. Let's see. Ward per second, area, stuff. Gravity's Guile grants 35 physical damage per point instead of 5. That's like, that's comical, right? That's huge. Listen, chat. Black hole requires testing. I don't know if it's still garbage anymore, but requires testing. Let's keep going for Bone Curse. Cursed Limbs. First of all, worth mentioning, Bone Curse has been bugged in a variety of ways, often, many times. The most egregious nerf recently, the most egregious buff recently is that your Bone Curse was inheriting more multipliers from whatever skill was proccing the Bone Curse. Hopefully that's been changed, but let's read it. After directly casting Bone Curse, you also cast Bone Curse on hit for the next few seconds, but Bone Curse costs more mana. This effect can't occur more than once per second. Bone Curse cast indirectly by this node can't apply Cursed Limbs and does not consume mana. Sure. So it's like not on hit anymore. It's like once per second. Fixed a bug. We're applying Bone Curse through Cursed Limbs, cause the Bone inherit more multiple. So hopefully this has been changed. Hopefully it's actually been fixed. It's been bugged for a long time, chat. Bone Curse's Illusion of Pain reduces the duration of Cursed Limbs and Cursed Ground by 50% from 75%. All right, cool. Neat. Let's go to Flame Ward. The thing to know about Flame Ward is that there's a node in Frostwall that allows you to proc Flame Ward with no cooldown on yourself and on your teammates. At least it was when they showed it at Gamescom. So maybe. Let's see what else is going on here. Better duration than there was before. Less mana efficiency. Sure. Shielding 3 points from 5. I don't remember which node is Shrewd Sealing. I think this is one of the nodes that gives you less elemental damage taken or something. Retribution. If you're using it for Reflect for some reason, grants more damage. Sure. Is that why they cut the mana efficiency? Since it costs 250% of the mana in order to proc it off of Flame Ward or off of Frostwall? Yeah, that's probably why they affected that. Let's take a look at this. Ice Barrage. Ice Barrage is... It is Sork only? No, it's not. Ice Barrage isn't Sork only, is it? Damage to mana is Shrewd? Gotcha. Thank you for clarifying that. Chat, is Ice Barrage? I don't think it is, right? That's Black Hole and Arcane Ascendants are Sork only. I think Ice Barrage is before the 50%. Is before the halfway point. Pretty sure everybody has access to Ice Barrage. Sleep Fire now puts the player at negative mana equal to your maximum mana for its duration instead of negative max mana times 10. This prevents abuse cases centered around missing mana, such as Font of the Erased. Yeah, that's a good change. Cool. Oh, Shrewd is for mana efficiency. Oh, got it. Okay. Let's keep going. Meteor's been changed a little bit. Remember the big change, in my opinion, about Meteor is you're proccing it and its skill tree off of Black Hole. Gaining Ward 10 instead of 8. Increase mana cost by 15 instead of 25. Restores this mana instead of that mana. Increase stun chance. Chance for shrapnel. Stuff for this, stuff for that. I don't think anything here is particularly important. Just like small quality of life. The biggest change in Meteor, again, is the fact that you can proc it off Black Hole. Summon Volatile Zombie. Summon Volatile Zombie now gains a damage over time minion tag when you take the Vomit node. The Vomit node is not really something that you were using very often on Volatile Zombie unless you were a brand new player. Most of the time, you just wanted Volatile Zombies to explode because they dealt really good damage. But this is something that you'll have to keep track of in case there's a reason for that to be relevant in the future. Who knows? Static Orb. Let's see this. Overcharged Detonation. I'm actually going to take a look at this real quick. Let's go lastepochtools.com. I want to make sure that I know what this node is because Static Orb, one of the strongest builds in the game currently, is spell damage, damage over time, static orb using charged ground, because it scales off of the stacking your mana with mana charge node here and overcharge detonation node here. Let's read this. This node currently says static orb explodes on hit rather than piercing. The orb deals more damage, which gets inherited by this thing, per 1 mana cost. I kind of feel with this wording here that it never should have applied to the charge ground because it says the orb itself deals more damage, but that's beside the point. So let's read what the change is. It is adjusted functionality. 3% more orb hit damage per 1 mana from 3% more orb damage per 1 mana. So the fact that it says hits is probably the change that is going to make it not affect the static ground. There's the charge ground. My understanding of the wording and how EHG builds their game tells me that this should have never worked in the first case because it said the orb deals damage instead of if it said static orb with 2 capital letters, then I would have expected it to work. But the fact that it said orb, it never should have worked. It did work. It was one of the strongest builds in the game. It was giga strong. That's been changed. So you can still scale off of the mana charge node. You don't also get this node in the future. So how much of a nerf is that? Go ask somebody who's been no-lifing that one build for the past 6 months. I don't know exactly how much of a nerf it is. Probably substantial. You lose like 900% more damage. Like 1/10 the damage. All right, go ask somebody who plays the build. I'm pretty sure this is a substantial nerf for that particular build. What I will be keeping track of is static orb charge ground something that I'm interested in combining with Glyph of Dominion or combining with Frost Wall, because those are also spell damage over time. We'll see. I don't know. I guess we could use Disintegrate. All right, Volcanic Orb. Pyroclastic Speed grants cast speed and orb speed. I'm going to go read it. Pyroclast. All right, what do you got? Volcanic Orb travels faster, causing it to travel further. Oftentimes, this is not what you want Volcanic Orb to do, but it gives you cast speed now. Probably doesn't change what you want it to do. I would say that this is an insufficient change for Volcanic Orb to make it relevant in the meta. Volcanic Orb will be reworked someday. This is not the rework. I'm not interested in this. Let's keep going for this. Mage Passives. We expect Lost Knowledge to be changed. God bless. It's there. Okay. Reactive Ward can have 6 points from 10. Reactive Ward is a pretty sweet node that was introduced in 0.9. It's this node here. When you drop below 70% health, you get some extra ward based on how much health you have. You can make it 1-to-1, but now you can only make it 6-to-1 or 6-to-10 or mathematics. 6 ward per 10 health because you can only allocate 6 points. Remember, it's a 12-second cooldown down to 6-second cooldown if you spec into this. So that's cool. It was strong. Maybe not too strong, but it was definitely strong. Sun and Storm's cooldown for ward gain is now 7 seconds from 10. What is Sun and Storm? This thing? Very mediocre. Got it. Consequently, Silver Rune can reduce it to 1 second from 4. -2 per point. How much ward do you gain? That's still kind of mediocre. Still kind of mediocre. Way more interesting than it used to be. Much more interesting than it used to be. Still bad, but much more interesting. All right. Silver Rune increases the ward gain from reactive ward by 15% from 20%. Boring. Okay, good. Let's look at the relevant stuff. In the meta, Lost Knowledge is a very, very important node. Let's hover over it so people know exactly what it does. Lost Knowledge is this. You gain ward. It can be a 1-to-1 ratio. If you put 10 points into this, you gain ward based on your maximum mana when you use a skill that costs at least 40 mana. This with Shadow Strike, this with Glacier, this with a way to refund mana in some capacity. Very, very strong. This is one of the strongest mastery nodes in the entire game. How did they change it? It grants 1 ward per 10 maximum mana from per 10 maximum mana. Oh, current mana. Okay. And can have 5 points allocated. So it's half as strong. I wonder if they should just cap it. Maybe half as strong is enough. But it's current mana instead of maximum mana. The current mana stuff doesn't matter too much if you're building a whole bunch of mana and you're refunding that mana using Glacier, for example. But it's half as strong as it used to be. Still very strong. It's probably only good for Glacier now. I didn't mess around with this too much. Glacier is the biggest offender that I know of off the top of my head. To me, Glacier is still very, very good. I don't know about all the other use cases. Is this sufficient for... It's just such an insane node. I feel like Glacier is still strong. The current one's very limiting when you build the level, or when you level the build. Or, sorry, yeah, current mana is very limiting when you level the build. Yeah, but you don't really need it when you're leveling. I don't think that really matters. It's probably bad outside of Glacier. Glacier just has really good mana refunding built into it. And like nothing else really comes close. If they wanted to, they could probably just change that node, right? Yeah, like you're gonna have like 800, 900,000 mana on Glacier once you're done building your character. You could probably just attack the mana refund on Glacier if you wanted to make Lost Knowledge more appropriate. Does 092 bring a seasonal wipe? No. Nope. Let's keep looking for Sork. Arcane Insights, Insight buff, lasts 5 seconds from 4. Sure, whatever. That node is this thing here. It's fine, I guess. No big deal. Elixir of Knowledge can have 3 points allocated from 1, allowing for ward gained on potion use equal to 3 times your intelligence. I don't think this is a particularly interesting node. Cute, I guess, but I don't think that you're going to be speccing points. The Runemaster skill tree, the first half of the Runemaster skill tree is good enough that you will... It's good. It's really good. It's strong. You're not going to have 3 points to allocate into this thing. You're probably not even going to have 1 point to allocate into this thing. I don't think this is relevant here. I think you have better places to spend your points. Chronomancy grants chill, ignite, shock duration, 5 from 4. Sure. Chance to proc Spark Nova, 8 from 6. Cool, it's a buff. Ward gained on stuff. Sure, whatever. Okay, kind of boring. Not interested. Items. There's new mage equipment affixes. So these are not personal affixes. These are not drop-only affixes. These are just new affixes introduced to the game to complement all the new skills. So there's ward per second for you and allies while you're standing on your glyph. There's speed and distance with Flame Rush. There's chance to gain mana when you directly cast Runebolt or Fireball. Runebolt is already a good mana generator. This is pretty good. Chat, if you need a mana generator, you gotta believe me, man. It's good at mana generation. Ward gained per rune consumed with Runic Invocation. Not exciting to me. Fire penetration here, cold penetration here, lightning penetration here. Sure. Frostwall duration and frostbite chance per second with Frostwall. Frostwall has some buffs and it deals more damage per second that it's been active. This is potentially something that's quite good. Think about Frostwall duration the same way that you might think about Abyssal Decay duration if you're looking for a comparable affix. And then you have levels for all of this nonsense as well. Let's keep going. There's some new mage idols that exist. There is area for elemental skills. There's ward per second for you and allies while standing on your thing. There's ward gain per rune. Boring. Mana efficiency and elemental penetration with Frostclaw. That's interesting to me. I like that one. Mana efficiency and elemental penetration for Frostclaw. I'll sort for that. I'll pick those up when I find them. There's also elemental bees per 10 second. Moving on. Added... Do we have to talk about this? I don't think there's a reason we care about this. If there is, let me know in the comments. Yeah. We're going to move on. Affixes. Other affixes. There's a new affix, armor and reduced bonus damage from crits that can roll on helmets and body armor and gloves and belts and boots and shields. Oh, it's so good. Look at this. Armor and reduced bonus damage from crits. Sign me the fuck up. God, that's so good. Is it flat armor or percent armor? I believe it is flat armor. And you don't know the values of it. I do. I know what they were. They're subject to change, but... Ward per second affix changes. These now roll on catalysts, acolyte helmets, and acolyte body armor, instead of only being mage stuff. They're slightly more common, but still uncommon overall. They start dropping at 22. They're slightly weaker at tier 1, and about 30% stronger at higher tiers, and they're called of warding instead of mages, because now they're not exclusive to mage. Cool. The idle mage, ward per second, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Idle mage, chance to do stuff when stuff. You got it. Mana spent gained when as ward affix. Sure. Mana spent gained as ward affix now grants 12 to 40 instead of 12 to 35. Dread recently did a build exploring this as a means of generating ward, and it wasn't terrible. I don't think that this is something that you're going to care about. I guess it's worth exploring with. If you're a build scientist, sure, go ahead and explore with this. I anticipate that it's still going to be kind of B tier compared to other ways of generating ward, but there is a lot more support for this between the 0.9 patch and 0.92 right now than there has been in the past. So I don't know. That's interesting. What's this? The Acolyte Relic gives more ward. This thing gives more ward. This thing gives more ward. There's a lot more support for ward per second than there has been in the past. Tiny numbers here in a lot of places. Next, unique items. There are 21 unique items. You know about 5 of them because 3 were spoiled during Hype Week and 2 were spoiled previously to that. There are 8 uniques that are intended specifically for Runemaster. There's 9 other unique items that who knows what they do. And there's 4 that drop from Exiled Mages. The 4 that drop from Exiled Mages, I will give you a little shout out here that we know from the Hype Week teasers about Exiled Mages. It seems as though the uniques that drop from Exiled Mages have experimental affixes on them, or maybe they have something weird going on. I anticipate that the 4 items that drop from Exiled Mages are very exciting. I can't confirm that, but I anticipate, given the information that's publicly available, that these items are cool as hell. Let's keep going. Apogee of Frozen Light. This item is a one-handed sword, and it always shocks people when they discover that it's a one-handed sword. It is giga strong. It was introduced in 091, I believe. Grants minions 14 to 24 damage chilled enemies instead of 18 to 33. A little nerf there. Good. Grants 24 to 38 chance to chill attackers. Who cares? Expending a stack of Floating Vengeance grants 24% more damage instead of 30% more damage. This item is still absurdly strong. It's dumb how strong it is. It's been slightly nerfed. It's still giga strong. So let's keep going. Apostate Sanctuary is a unique amulet that gave like 500 flat life. It no longer gives 500 flat life. It now grants 6 to 10 vitality. Remember, vitality gives you 6 HP per. I almost feel as though vitality should be 5 HP per, so that you can just do math easier in your head. But 10 vitality is 60 health. It grants health per health per vitality. So it kind of helps to bridge the gap between what it was in the past and what it is now. 10 health per vitality in the past, 6 health per vitality now. And it gives you better ward per second during rebuke. So that if you're that one guy playing that one build with the damage reflect, cool. Let's keep going. Bastion of Honor. I just dropped my very first Bastion of Honor after about 4 months or so of gameplay on the multiplayer server. The fact that they're finally nerfing it, I'd rather just delete it from the game. I hate Bastion of Honor. Instead of being extremely OP after getting nerfed 3 times and still being extremely OP, now it grants 1% block chance per strength instead of 100 block chance. So relevant if you're stacking strength. So that's nerf number 1. Nerf number 2, they changed it from a 25% block chance base to a 14% block chance base, and a 600, 800 implicit for block effect to 320 to 400. So that's the second nerf. And the third nerf, it's rarer and has an even lower chance of having legendary. It got triple nerfed. This is like the Chris Wilson treatment. Oh, like what? Really? I don't think that this should have happened. I think that if this third line of text were the only thing that happened, I think that would be a bad choice. I think it'd be a bad choice if this were the only thing that happened. If this were the only thing that happened, I'd be excited. If this were the only thing that happened, I would be excited. If both of these things happened at the same time, I'd kind of raise my eyebrow. The fact that all 3 of these happened, holy moly. I mean, I hate Bastion of Honor, and even I'm sitting here like, what? Anyways, let's keep going. There's a couple other unique items that have been updated. That's cool. Bone Clamor Barbet has been changed. Instead of granting 15 to 25 ward per second, was it a support unique? No, Bastion of Honor was not a support unique. Bone Clamor Barbet now grants 1 ward per second per 3% uncapped necrotic resistance. If you're stacking Vitality, which gives you necrotic resistance, and you also have a bunch of necrotic resistance, I guess you can have some ward per second. I like things like this being in the game. I don't think this one in particular is interesting, but I do like that it's in the game. I don't know, cool. Bone Clamor Barbet has intelligence on it. If you're playing an in-stacking build, maybe you want a 2 or 3 LP one of these. So I guess that's cool. Cradle of the Erased. This is a shield that was introduced in 091. It is one of those Weaver's Will shields. It now grants 10 to 13 block instead of 12 to 15, so it's been nerfed. And then ward on block has been substantially increased on the lower end. I guess on the high end too. What's the reason for this change? I don't really know. I think that shield was pretty good. But I think they're nervous about having flat block chance from a blessing available. So if you want to have block, I think you have to take the block chance blessing. That's the idea that EHG is communicating here. Next. Eye of Orexia is technically an item. Let's see what it does. It increases your volcanic orb speed. Oftentimes, for all of the meta use cases of volcanic orb, you want it to go as slow as possible so that it kind of shotguns when the orb itself is inside of a monster and shooting projectiles out from inside the monster. I guess this is cool. I'm going to hold off on having any big opinions about volcanic orb until it gets reworked. Sure, maybe we'll try this out at some point, but Gel cores. Gel cores is something that we were talking about at the very beginning of the stream before I started hitting record. I don't like this change. If you know Trickster is another content creator. He's on YouTube as well. Go check him out. He is going to make a video about this soon, complaining, and I support his complaints. I think it's a good complaint. Gelcore's Blasting Knife is not a good item because it is so clunky, and the attack range for how close you have to be to a monster in order to hit them with your basic attack and cause an explosion the size of the entire screen, it was just too small of an attack range. And the only way that you could play melee detonating arrow was with a dagger, and the dagger forced you into having this bad attack range. I didn't like it. Everybody complained about this. So the change that they made was to make the area effect 50% more big, and they didn't give you any attack range. No, is 49% AoE the basic attack area? Nope, it's the explosion. So the explosion is even bigger than it used to be, but the thing that people complain about has been unchanged. If you're interested in this, Go check with Trickster. He doesn't like it either. This misses the point of the complaints about gel cores. I will continue to not play this. I'm not particularly interested in it. I hope it gets changed. We'll see. Twisted Heart, one of the most busted items in the game. Let's see what's going on. Instead of 12 to 16% of current health converted, 10 to 13. So you still get a bunch of ward, but not quite as much. Now grants 10 to 16 strength instead of 12 to 16. 10 to 16 cast speed instead of 6 to 12 cast speed. It's got lore text. Cool. Basically a buff. Because it gives more cast speed. Like, it's going to generate slightly less ward, but you have more cast speed. And the cast speed, I don't know if you know this, cast speed is part of the function that determines your damage. And damage, make sure you write this down, damage good. So I think Twisted Heart just got buffed here. Let's keep going. A lot of changes to block chance, including this meme item that people periodically try to make work. Coral Ages now technically does something here as well. Block chance per shock on the attacker. Shock is capped at 10. Cool. I guess that. Some other unique items. There's some like new 3D artwork. It's very pretty. I like it. Next up is player visuals. There's a new set of armor for Rogue. It's very pretty. I like that. The updated Rogue animations. I didn't look at these myself. I've been told that they're good. If you're interested in Rogue looking even better than before, cool. Let me know how it looks. Maybe I'll do that too. I don't know. I've heard that it looks good. New death animations, size, updated the size of volatile. You know, it's interesting to me that they updated the size of volatile zombies. I wonder if there's a reason for that. All right. Sound. I guess can we mention something else? Let's mention one more thing real quick. You see these death animations over here? Do I have any CTs in chat? Are they really going to go live with that nonsense death animation? Is that really going to make it into the game? Really? Is it? It's... All right. So there's a death animation, chat. When you die... yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's not okay. I'm going to make it okay. When you die, you have to look at it for like 2 seconds. It sucks. Just don't die. Yeah, 3 seconds. You just fucking stare. Chad, listen. You're watching this on YouTube. It's in the patch notes. God bless. You're watching this on YouTube. You're watching this live. When you die, you're gonna die eventually. Months from now, when you die, I want you to remember this moment. I want you to come back to the comment section and leave a response. Yeah. Hardcore has never been more exciting. Let me know what you think about the new death animations. Yeah, they're great. Don't worry. Updated the sound for when the player is stunned. Cool. Social. Cool. Towns re-enabled last week. You can right click on people. That's neat. What else do we have? Updated the presentation of various quests. Dialogue improvements. We're gonna play through the campaign again. We'll look at everything. We'll try to piece together the lore. We'll try to figure out who the Lost Emperor is. Sure. Enemies. So here's something that's interesting, chat. Lagon has been reworked. Lagon is kind of boring, kind of frustrating. New players don't like him. Experienced players also don't like him. He's just kind of boring. Lagon got substantially reworked. So that's cool. You can no longer directly attack him. There's tentacles. You slap his tentacles. His attacks are normal. The fight's more engaging than it used to be. Being tricky to hit with skills like Fireball. Change was made to bypass a number of bugs that occurred during trying to attack a bug that's too far away. So things like static can actually damage the boss. That's exciting. Yeah, the fight is much more exciting than it used to be. It's pretty cool, man. You slap his tentacles. Quote me. Other changes. Stuff. Update. User interface. Updated the size of Wingari monsters. Hot. User interface. Added a shine effect to abilities when they come off cooldown. World map is better. Shows you the level of the zone that you're in. A lot of new players have questions about this. God bless. Orange glow are now animated in the crafting window. Brief timer before you can click on respawn. There's a brief timer. Yes. There's a brief timer before you can click the respawn button. Let me know in the comment section if you like this. Or if you don't like this. Let me know your thoughts. Controller support's better. Optimization. Server-side stuff. Transition stuff. Matchmaking. A lot of low-level changes to the game's networking. Improved performance. Sure. Significantly did this. Improved the performance of that. Speed of this. And performance of that. Good. Chat, I don't have the context for this. If you're a network engineer, comment section. Hit me up. Monolith of Fate bug fixes. Fixed a bug where unlocking a timeline while in a party with another player would cause you to unlock all the timelines that they'd unlocked as well. Sure. Multiplayer? Multiplayer. Fixed a bug where leaving the game without clicking on the empowered catalyst after watching the cutscene would prevent you from unlocking empowered monoliths. I think one of the things that Last Epoch doesn't do well is informing you that empowered monoliths exist. And I think it's really that easy. And it's kind of a crying shame, right? Like, you don't really know that empowered monoliths exist unless you're on social media, on YouTube, on twitch.tv, you know? Like, do they really tell you? I don't know. Not well, anyways. Fixed a bug offline mode where town portal next to the timeline catalyst and the monolith phase, and then returning to portal lock players into cinematic for the rest of the play session. Good. All right. Fixed a bug where chat disabled could be shown in the chat window that was actually enabled. Fixed a bug where chat would re-enable itself during gameplay when joining or leaving a chat channel. God bless. All right. So if you turn off chat, it's going to stay off. Excellent. /R exists. Sure. Gameplay. Fixed a bug. Fixed a bug. Server-side stuff. Fixed a bug here. Fixed a bug with 15-minute AFK timer could not trigger in some cases. 15 minutes. I know that there are some people out there who are worried about doing arena pushes, because some arena pushes take like 3 or 4 or 5 hours if you're trying to get like 700, 800 waves in the arena. And like, you got to go to the bathroom. And like, what if you don't get back soon enough? I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Fixed a bug where some emerging enemies would be invisible if you joined the server after they emerged. Hopefully the grace period that we talked about earlier on helps to fix this as well. Certain on-kill effects would not take tag changes from skill trees. Cast fire aura on skill with fire skills would not work with the fire conversion of surge. Interesting, sure. Fixed a bug where dungeon abilities would temporarily disappear when going to a new floor. And offline, sure. Fixed a bug where the respawn button appeared over a waypoint. Clicking the button would open the world map instead of respawning you. Hilarious. All right. Just read the Arcane Ascendance. This is a buff thing, and Ralph does. Yes. All right. You think 50 minutes is too short? Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. Let's take a look at skills. Bunch of bug fixes here. If you spec a skill and then refund your passives such that you no longer have access to the skill, your specialized tree no longer applies. If you regain access to the skill, your specialized tree will again. This is excellent. You know what this is? If you spec in a skill, refund your passive such that you know, like, this stops you from being level 115. Get wrecked, EQ Werebear. Good. This is very, very good. EQ Werebear builds could snapshot their EQ and be level 115, whereas the rest of us plebs are left being level 100. This is very good. I like this a lot. Fixed detonating arrows hit detection, causing it to deal damage to targets that shouldn't. Sure. Fixed a bug where converting summon Spriggan to cold, give it a cold scaling tag instead of a cold minion tag. Oh. It will now be affected by plus 30 cold minion skills like Apogee. Okay, sure. Got it. Fixed a bug where static orbs, skill icon did not explain inactive, or lightning tag when it's cold or lightning, respectively. Sure. Got it. Got it. Flame Ward cast on allies would appear in incorrect position. Cool. It's going to be on them, hopefully. Maelstrom's visual effects did not increase when the size was increased. Fixed a bug with the ability to summon Scorpion lasted too long when converted to lightning, causing it to deal damage after the visual effect had finished, even if the Scorpion moved. Sure. For the 5 people out there playing Summon Scorpion. Got it, got it. Fixed a bug where fight aura stacks could be endlessly sustained by casting Teleport. This fix also resolves other cases where some effects could last longer than intended. Neat. Bees per 10 seconds resulted in slightly fewer bees than intended. God bless. Now we have an appropriate number of bees per 10 seconds. Fix a bug where leaving a crafted legendary in the Eternity Cache would prevent you from being able to craft a legendary next time that you were there. You can now take out the previously crafted legendary and then make a new one. This will make somebody very happy when you remind them that their item is not deleted. It's still there. Just go back and get it. This is a very good change. Speaking of visuals, they're pretty. Does anything matter here? Fix the models. Lighting properties. Out of mana particle effects. There's an out of mana particle effect? Sure. Fixed a bug, fixed a bug, fixed a bug, fixed a sound bug, fixed a sound bug. Wait! No! Fixed Apophis talking over herself if you interact with her multiple times in the Chamber of Vessels. I cannot die. Well, that's too bad. That was like my favorite part of chapter 9. I know Twitch chat liked that too. That's too bad. She can finally die. Fixed a bug where the mortar projectiles from the primeval dragon and profane flesh abilities exploded in the air, causing them not to deal damage and look strange. Yes. Good. Love this. UI fixed a bunch of bugs here. Patch note updates after the fact. Oh, we're at the end? Whew, look at this. All right. Corrected black hole patch note. Stated damage effectiveness was increased to 300% from... It has, in fact, been increased to 300% damage effectiveness. Yes. Hot. Yeah. All right. That does it. Whew, how long was that? That was an hour and 7 minutes, including 7 minutes of me being DC'd and waiting for Twitch chat to come back. So hopefully we skip over that with some kind of YouTube chapter. Cool. All right. Let's scroll back up. We're at the 1 hour and 7 minute mark. What are the key takeaways? If somebody's watching this YouTube video and they're going to skip to the very end of the video, what are the very important takeaways that they need to know about the patch notes? Vitality's been changed. Instead of 10 life, it's 6 life. And it gives 1% necrotic and poison res. That's kind of cool. What else is a big change? I gotta scroll. Runemaster is better than Sork. Yes. You should investigate playing Black Hole. Yeah, I don't know if it's good, but Black Hole is worth playing. Worth investigating. Bashamonder's dead. Yeah. Bashamonder got triple nerfed. It got big nerfed. Not having a Bashamonder, you probably don't care. Runemaster exists. Rune prisons exist. Lost caches. Yeah. You can probably find a singularity while leveling, if that's interesting for you. Infernal column change was massive for Meteor. Now you ignore the node, be slightly less disgusted by it. Sure. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if there's too much that I can tell you. Like, what was the most important part of the patch notes? The block, right? Bastion of Honor. Bastion of Honor was a huge change. The node in Sork for lost knowledge, you're probably only using this with Glacier, and it's half as strong as it used to be, so it did get nerfed. The most important part is Runemaster. Chat, you gotta play Runemaster. I guess it takes longer to get to level 100, sure. There are reasons to play other classes other than Runemaster. However, You've never played Runemaster, and it's so good. I want you to play Runemaster because you're gonna enjoy it so much. You're gonna feel like a kid on Christmas morning unwrapping a whole bunch. You're gonna unwrap like 50 presents. You're gonna love it. Vitality was big. Vitality was big. Yeah, we mentioned that. You got your mage leveled up, waiting for Thursday. Good, good, good. Important change was Vitality, Bastion, Cursed Limbs. Cursed Limbs was a good one. The bugs finally got fixed. Hopefully, they said they got fixed, and then it's no longer Cursed Limbs, Bone Curse on hit. It's Bone Curse once a second. The best part about Runemaster is it makes us closer to the real class Falconer. Yes, chat. If you are a Falconer enjoyer, you are in the right place. The unique items, I can't tell you about those. Wait for the data mine, or go spend a bunch of Runes of Ascendance, or just keep your eye on social media when people actually find these things. The unique items are awesome. Oh, Static Ground. Yeah, that's a good one too. Static Ground, or so Charged Ground from Static Orb is like 1/10 as strong as it used to be. Probably still strong. Much worse than it used to be. Are the CTU players playing Falconer at all? I don't think I'm allowed to tell you that. Is Cleaver's solution plus Red Ring about to pop off? I have no idea. Sounds hilarious though. Chat, the experimental affixes and the unique items, you're going to love them. They are very, very cool. I think that about does it. Let's cut the video there. We ended at 1:08. And then we chatted for like another 3 or 4 minutes about nothing in particular, just kind of going back over the patch notes. So I'll be playing all this weekend on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll probably be doing some nice long streams that are like 7, 8, 9 hours long, because when you plan in advance and you tell your wife ahead of time that she's going to be a solo parent, sometimes you get away with doing things like this. So that's what my weekend's going to look like. If you're interested, twitch.tv/ParryThePig. I'll be streaming a lot. I'll see you then.